Welcome back to another roundtable. My name is Adam. I have Rusman.
Hello.
Victor.
Hi everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about Singapore Depository Receipts, or SDRs. The SGX recently launched them, and it's basically a way for Singaporeans to buy foreign stocks on the Singapore Exchange. So at this point, they have just released SDRs for the Thai market, so the Thailand Stock Exchange. There are a few companies there we're going to talk about as well. But before we jump into those companies, tell us a bit more about the pros and cons of investing in SDRs at this point.
Yeah, SDR basically stands for Singapore Depository Receipts. So basically, when you invest in SDR, you are technically owning overseas foreign listed shares. Okay, so what this means is that, so in this case, I think currently there are three Thai stocks that are actually listed: Airport of Thailand, CPO, and then PTT Exploration Production. Okay, so these are three Thai shares that are actually listed under this SDR, right? So and the main advantage, of course, if you invest in them is that it's quite simple, right? You don't need to deal with currency exchange, so it's traded in Sing dollar. So you're basically buying it as if like it's a Singapore companies, right? Even though it's actually listed in Thai Stock Exchange. Okay, and the other thing is, of course, you don't need to pay custodian fees, right? So I mean, in the past, if you were to buy, let's say, Thai stocks, okay, you need to get a broker to buy those Thai share. You need to pay a custodian account fees about, I think, $2 per counter per month. Okay, so that can add up quite a bit if you hold it for a long term. Yeah, so in this case, you don't really need to. Okay, so it becomes like a Singapore traded stocks.
Yeah, right. So it's essentially just like buying a Singapore stock on the Singapore Stock Exchange, just that now it represents a foreign company. And it's easily bought and sold on the SGX and everything. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And you pay the normal brokerage fees like what you will get for local shares.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So if you trade in the Thai market, then there's a extra, I think, charges for the overseas brokerage fee.
Yeah. Okay. And the beautiful part of this is that if you buy and sell, you get to make a profit. You don't have to pay tax.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's
a Singapore shares in a way.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's still tax on the dividend for all these Thai companies. But when you get the dividend, it's net off tax, 10%.
All right. So there's a withholding tax.
Yeah. They net off the withholding tax. Okay. Right. There's no capital gain tax for if you're Singaporean. Since it's a SDR, right? There's no capital gain tax because Singapore and Thailand have a treaty with
each other
on the double taxation, right? But then if you are Malaysian, you were to buy into the Thai stock, then you're going to have capital gain tax on that because there's no treaty between Malaysia and Thailand, right? But of course, if you are Malaysian, you buy through the SDR, then you won't get the capital gain taxation
because it's essentially like a Singapore stocks, right? Okay.
Yeah. So in the nutshell, you get to eat the best tom yum soup in Singapore. You don't have to fly to Thailand now.
All right, okay.
But you own the MVDR. You're not owning the local share.
Yes.
Right.
So foreigner owning MVDR means that you got MVDR is non-voting depository receipt. That means you got no voting rights.
Okay.
So but you're entitled to dividends, right? But you can still go to Thailand and buy the local shares. But then when you buy the local share, you got no dividends.
All right. Yeah. As a foreigner,
no dividends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most of us will just go to the MVDR.
And
this SDR is basically like a one-to-one thing with the MVDR, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Yep. So any share that you buy from these three ADRs, you'll be kept under your custodian. I think if you have your own custodian account with SGX, you'll be kept there.
Otherwise, you mean the CDP, right?
Yeah, CDP. Yeah. Then otherwise, if you have, let's say, a broker, if you're using their custodian account, then of course, you'll be kept under your broker custodian account.
All right. So the great thing about these SDRs is they go direct to your CDP account. So it is owned directly under your name as well. So it sounds there are a lot of advantages to having this SDR thing. I think it's a great move by the SGX. But any disadvantages that you can think of?
I think the first question that people will come, especially those investors that actually invested in since 1990s, or early 2000. There was a CLOP saga, right? So there was, it's basically the shares, those are listed in CLOP exchange. Those are the Malaysian stocks where a lot of Singapore investors actually get to buy Malaysia's share. They were listed in the CLOP itself, okay? But Malaysia at the time, they don't really recognize this as an official exchange. And then subsequently, I think in 1998, after the Asian financial crisis, Malaysia wanted to do capital control. They banned CLOP. So overnight, all these shares, okay, after the separation of Singapore and Malaysia, the exchange itself, like the SGX separated from KLSE, there was this a lot of group of investors in Singapore actually own those Malaysia shares. Okay, so those were not being recognized as they were being traded at the over the counter at the clock exchange itself. Okay, so ever since the ban in 1998, later part after the Asian financial crisis, then this share literally like become worthless.
Yeah.
Right. So now, of course, people will start to wonder, would this ever happen to the SDR? Okay, structurally they are very different, right? So first is that the clock shares are over the counter. The Malaysian government don't really recognize it as an official exchange. Okay, but for this, I think you have SGX that actually work with the Stock Exchange of Thailand to come up with this product. Okay, and it's going to be, each share that you're going to own in this SDR, it represents one NVDR, okay, which is non-voting rights depository receipt in the share which is listed in Thailand Stock Exchange.
Yep.
Okay, so technically you are the beneficiary of these shares. Okay, so in the worst case situation, like for example, what happened with US and China, right? So US threatened to delist all those Chinese ADR. I think last year or a couple of years back, right? So we hear that Pinduoduo, Alibaba, they couldn't get delisted, and the share price started to tank. Okay, so in the worst case situation, I think SDR is fully fungible. Okay, meaning to say they can actually convert it into the NVDR, which is listed in Thailand Stock Exchange, and the ratio for all these three stocks is actually 1-to-1.
Okay. So you don't see a clock saga happening with this thing at all, because it's basically everything's been arranged between all the authorities involved.
The exchange
that shouldn't happen at all. Right?
Yeah. So it's in the way it's recognized. Okay. So I mean, but they do have the legal right to say, hey, and like one day the SCT, right? Because the issuer is actually the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Right? They can one day say, hey, it's no longer commercially viable to do this business, they can close it down. Right? In the event when that happens, of course, they will liquidate your share and then they will return you the cash.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or if the share, let's say CPO or Airport of Thailand get delisted, of course, they usually either through an offer or whatever, okay, or bankrupt, of course, that will get delisted. Those are the underlying risks of the business itself.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like there's not much of a counterparty risk in this sense.
Yeah, not much.
It shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't end up as a clock.
Yeah,
saga.
it shouldn't happen that way. So it looks that it's a more convenient way for investors to basically buy foreign stocks through the SGX. So at this point, we have 3 Thai SDRs. CPO, Airport of Thailand, and PTT.
PTT Exploration and Production.
Yeah,
which is the oil business.
All right. So very briefly, tell us about these 3 companies.
Okay, so let's start off with PTT Exploration and Production. So basically, it's like ExxonMobil, but on the, I think upstream, is it? Upstream, yeah. Where they do the exploration and production, but you don't really own the downstream, right? Actually, there's a separate listed PTT also, which I think they owns everything as a group. Which also own the petrol station, but this one, it does not account the petrol station. It's only the exploration and production of business. It's generally much more of a cyclical business.
All right. So just be clear, if you're looking to buy the SDR, this doesn't include the gas stations and stuff. It's really the exploration business. Okay.
So then it's not very exciting. It's because it's cyclical nature. I think the more exciting one is actually the Airport of Thailand and CPO, which I'm going to talk more in depth. Right. I think this is the darlings in the Thai stock market. Right. If you go to any Thailand, or you know any Thai person, you ask them, right? They basically know these two company. It's very, very big. Okay. So let's start off with the Airport of Thailand. Okay. So to summarize in short, Airport of Thailand is as good as buying Airport of Thailand is as good as you owning Changi Airport. It's the same thing, right? So if you look at Airport of Thailand, you go to Bangkok, right? The main airport is actually Suvarnabhumi Airport, right? Then you got another one is the Dok Mung, right? Dok Mung used to be the number one. Then after that, they built the Suvarnabhumi, then it becomes the largest city. So these 2 airports actually owned by Airport of Thailand. And not only this airport, they also owns the Chiang Mai International Airport, the Phuket International Airport, all those that tourists usually go on, they own it. Hai Yai International Airport and Mae Fah Luang Chiang Rai
real Thai.
You sound
like real Thai.
Victor has spent time in Thailand. That's why
used to do Thai boxing, right? So these are the main airports that they actually own, right? In Thailand, there's 39 airports.
Okay.
Right. So they own mainly the more touristy area of the airport. The rest are all domestic airport, which owned by the Department of Airport, and the others are owned by the Royal Thai Navy and the Bangkok Airway Company, right? So in total, there's 39, and they control the international one. So they actually owns very, very good assets for this company. And if you were to look into their profits, they have been growing, right? The business has been growing from 2013 to 2019, but then after that, COVID hit, right? It's not only this airport. There's many airports that's being affected. Even Changi Airport is being affected. Your Shanghai Airport, your Beijing Airport, everything is being affected, right? So they are not spared. They are also being affected. So that's why they run into losses. But then if you were to look at the international flow into Thailand, right? In Southeast Asia, a lot of international airplanes, they tend to flow into Thailand because it's like a touristy area in Southeast Asia, right? So they are temporarily being hurt, but if you look at their dividend history, they have been paying increasing dividends for the past few years, and the track record was very nice until COVID pandemic hit and they stopped paying dividends, right? And if you were to use their pre-COVID earnings per share, which is about 1.7 baht, right? You multiply by their average PE is about 31.1 time. Airport of Thailand always traded at premium, and I think the Thais just love to buy this company, right? Even though the share have fallen because of the COVID, they still traded at very, very expensive premium. As compared to other airport, was traded much lower, but their premium are still very high, right? Because I think somehow the Thai just love Airport of Thailand. Okay, so if you were to take the pre-COVID EPS of 170, you multiply by their 31.1 time, right? Their entry value is about $52, $53 like this. Around this.
$52 or baht?
Sorry, baht.
Okay.
Baht, right. So right now, if you look at the main share in SET, right, which is Thailand Exchange, right, it's about 71.
Okay.
Right. So they are traded above their value.
So you're saying it's overvalued at this time?
Yeah, it's not very cheap. Because this company holds very well despite the COVID pandemic. And they recover. They are one of the first airport I feel that recovers very fast compared to the like Beijing Airport and the Shanghai Airport. Right. Then you have another one which is what everybody always look at in Thailand and it's very famous. It's called CPR. So CP stands for Chakram Pokapan, right? It's basically owned by the Chakram Pokapan group, which is also listed in Thailand Stock Exchange. Okay, but this Chakram, right, is not related to the Thai beverage because the Thai beverage owner is also called Chakram.
Okay.
Right? Chakram, sorry. And the Thai beverage one is another family. This one is the largest private entity in Thailand. Okay, and basically they own 7-Eleven franchise in Thailand. So if you talk about 7-Eleven franchise, right, the largest number of 7-Eleven store and the most successful one is actually in Japan.
Oof, I love Japan
7-Eleven. Yeah. So that's the most successful. They are so successful that they bought over the major control over the franchisor, which is the 7-Eleven US.
All right.
Right. So they own 70% of the 7-Eleven US and they become the franchisor itself.
So this is for 7-Eleven Japan?
Japan, yeah.
All right. It's nothing to do with the CPO.
Yeah. Now comes there. So Japan is the largest, right? The second largest in terms of number of stores in the world, right, is Thailand.
Okay.
So they are ranked second in the world and one of the best performing, right? And if you talk about the convenience store market in Thailand, right, they are 70% market share. 70%, not usually very competitive, but this one is 70% market share.
When I was in Tokyo, we had Lawson's and Family Mart. I didn't actually see a lot of 7-Elevens actually. But in Thailand,
yes,
it's 7-Elevens everywhere.
You also have Family Marts, but you see 7-Eleven more often.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, they are not only in the convenience store business, they are also in the wholesale service business, financial service business, F&B, education service, right? But their main revenue is still from the 7-Eleven and also the wholesale service business, which they bought over McCoy and Carey.
Okay.
Right, in a few years, they consolidate the business. So there's a very, very big business in Thailand. And on top of that, right, when in the 7-Eleven, they also produce their own food and all this. Okay, so if you were to look at their profits from 2003 all the way to now, right, they actually have been increasing their profits until the COVID hit and the economy become bad and they start to drop. But then they are still profitable. Right, they are not like Airport of Thailand now. Airport of Thailand is become not profitable because nobody is flying in. But they are still profitable despite, but just that it's lower profits. And if you look at the dividend history, right, they have been paying very, very consistent increasing dividend throughout the years of history since 2003. Right, only when COVID hit, right, their dividend was cut. But then even though when they cut, right, they go down to 2 years, right. After that, now they start to increase back already. But they still pay dividend, unlike the Airport of Thailand. Okay. But you look in terms of valuation, right, let's say you assume that they will recover to the pre-COVID earnings, which is $2.38 baht, right? And their average PE trade was very premium one. It's like 36.6 times. Right? This company are always traded at very premium because everybody know this company. This is the first thing in Thailand, and and I think they tend to pay very good dividends. That's why they are traded at very premium. The lowest PE that they have been to for the past 10 years was 20 plus time only.
Okay.
Right? But they always traded above like 30 time PE. So at average of 36.6 time, right, your intrinsic value for this company is around $87. And right now they are still traded at 63. Okay. But So the thing about Thai companies is when I notice a lot of Thai stocks, they tend to trade quite premium in terms of valuation, especially the well-known.
I mean, these are like Thai blue chips, right?
Yeah, and they don't really drop, and the yield is not that high also, even though they pay increasing dividends. So let's say you were to take pre-COVID dividends over this current share price, about 2% only you're getting, like assuming that they recover.
All right. So at this point, I mean, the two that you really like would be AOT and CPO, and both of them are overvalued at this point in time.
I think CPO is quite reasonable in terms of valuation. They still haven't recovered to the pre-COVID valuation.
Okay.
Right, but CPO, I think is not CPO. Airport of Thailand is still overvalued. CPO, I think, is still traded below the intrinsic value.
Yeah, but bear in mind that we are just scratching the surface.
Scratching the surface.
Okay,
right.
right.
Yeah.
So each of this company, I mean, you can take an hour to do a deep dive actually.
Yeah. So please, this is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. We're just just going to the business and the performance and where they stand in the industry and how dominant they are. Yeah. But this is not a recommendation. But I think these SDRs I mean, we all know that Singapore, we don't have a lot of many companies to invest in.
Yep.
But this is like a way to basically start. There's a really easy channel, convenient channel to start looking at companies that have much bigger markets out there.
Correct. So bigger domestic market, bigger population. I think Thailand, there's a lot of stocks in Thailand that perform very well throughout the years, and they are very good consumer stocks. So I mean, it's good that SGX start to bring in Thai stocks, right? Which prevent us from helping us not to pay the custodian fee. Right. If they can bring in more good consumer stocks, I think it's also generally quite good to boost up the markets in Singapore.
So now we have airport stocks listed in Singapore. It used to be just SATS, but it's not really an airport as per se. And then of course now you have 7-Eleven, second player, or the first player of course we have Dairy Farm, which also owns 7-Eleven in Singapore. But I will say that CPO did much better.
It looks much better, right? Because there's a much bigger market.
And generally Thai people, they like to go to the 7-Eleven, then eat their lunch.
Hang out there?
Yeah, hang out, eat their lunch. If you go to Thailand 7-Eleven, you'll notice a lot of the school kids, they tend to hang around in 7-Eleven.
Okay. Yeah, I think what I notice among investors here is that sometimes we get emails. A lot of them are just not interested to... I guess there's some inertia. They just want to invest with the brokerages that they have and what they know. Yes. And if you tell them, oh, this company or this stock is pretty interesting, but it's on another exchange, they go like, it's this... They don't want to have a look at that because it's just... they don't want to move, right? But now everything is on SGX. I don't think they're going to stay with just Thailand.
Yes, correct.
And I'm sure it's not going to be just 3 Thai stocks. It's going to be a lot more as well.
Hopefully,
there should be some expansion there. It's a good thing, I think, for everyone involved. I think it's a win-win. So again, not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. Please do your own research. I think,
Two more things to take note. First one is the liquidity, right? So this is relatively a new product. So it's the volume actually so far, as I look at it, on the first day of launch, of course, the volume is actually the highest. And for Airport of Thailand, I think there's about 26,000 shares traded on the day.
This for SDRs,
30th
right?
May, yes.
Okay.
And then subsequently it just come down. Okay. So it's on some days there wasn't any trades at all. So liquidity is going to be a big concern here.
Okay.
All right. So if you are planning to own some of the Thai share here, you need to make sure that you need to bear in mind that it's not as like on the click of button you get out. Correct. Depends on the quantum also that you're buying or selling, right? So and the same thing for CPR. I think on the first day there was 62,000 share traded, and then subsequently it just down.
Okay.
Like literally nothing.
All right. I guess it takes time to build up awareness. Some people may not know it's out there.
I think it's still new. Not a lot of people knows about SDR.
Right.
Yeah. So I think for the PTT, I think so far there's some volume, but it's still like 16,000, 10,000, that range. So hopefully, as more investors get interested, the volume will start to increase. Then this liquidity issue should become a concern moving forward. But at this stage, still don't know yet.
I mean, SGX, I think they made the right choice. They bring in the Thailand really blue chips.
Yeah.
I feel the app. Actually, PTT is also a blue chip, but it's the main group, but it's not the exploration and the what.
Okay.
But then I feel the CPO and Airport of Thailand is really the blue chip of the Thailand stock market. Right? And they managed to bring it here.
Yeah, that's why I say you get to eat the best tom yum soup from Thailand in Singapore.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So I hope that was a really useful, introduction to SDRs if you didn't know about it and what the current companies that they have right now for SDRs, and they are the Thai blue chips. So is there anything else, guys?
One last thing. Okay, so exchange risk. Okay, exchange rate risk. Okay, so even though they are traded in Sing dollar, okay, so these stocks likely going to continue trade alongside with their mother share, which is listed in Thai Stock Exchange, and the Thai Stock Exchange is traded in Thai baht. Okay, so any weakening or strengthening of SGD against Thai baht, I think it will affect the share price in Sing dollar. Okay, because of the currency risk. So far, I think last 20 years, Thai baht against Sing dollar has been quite stable. Okay, it has hovering between one Sing dollar is hovering between 23 to 25. Okay, averaging at about 24. Okay, so it's been, I think Thai baht ever since they depart from US dollars since the Asian financial crisis, they have the central government actually managed the currency quite well. Okay, so hopefully they will continue to do so, but it's a risk that you need to bear in mind. Even though it's traded in SGD, there's an underlying currency that they will trade.
Yeah, I mean the asset and the revenue they generate is still.
If the Thai baht depreciated by half against Sing dollar, like you get to see the share price might get depreciated as well.
Okay, I think that's true for any foreign stock.
Any foreign stocks,
that's true as well.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no more.
All right, so we had to thank you for bringing up the risks as well, because you need to know what could potentially go wrong as well. But that was a very helpful introduction to SDRs and the Thai companies that are coming in at this point. So if you like this roundtable, please hit the like button. Tell us any question. I mean, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. We'd love to answer your questions if you have any as well. So my name is Adam. Rusmin, Victor, thank you so much for joining us, and please subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables coming up, and we'll love to see you again.
Kabun Kap.